definitely, admissions policy and the fact that the state as a whole has a policy to fund institutions based on their graduation rates. That's something that kind of hinders us as a community as well.
So I want to chime in on the part that you spoke of, the prerequisite. So for those who don't know what that means, that actually means the student will be taking 2 math courses at the same time. So they're going to take the college level math course and
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second installment of the Math STEMinar. Again, I'm Dr. Pamela Grayson. I'm the moderator. Nothing near a math specialist, because I teach English. And so I am a graduate of the HBCU, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, your mother, and a member of the illustrious sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And this year is our centennial. We hit the 100 like everybody else, with the exception of one of the Divine Nine. So here we've got great information for you all today. We've got a great tool, a 20-page booklet that these Black Girl Magic educators have all designed for you. So I'm going to get started. Let's have an introduction from my girl, Miss Rashonda.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Rashonda Johnson. I am a math instructor at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I am also the proprietor of themakeupchick.com, and where we specialize in skincare and cosmetic needs. And you can check us out at mymakeupchick.com on the World Wide Web.
Cynthia.
Good morning, everyone. I hope all is well with you all. I am Cynthia Fletcher. I am an instructor of mathematics at the University of Arkansas at Pulaski Technical College. I am the owner of Bernice's Bling, where I buy, sell, and wear fabulous $5 jewelry and accessories. Yes, ma'am. My website is www.bernicesbling.com.
Miss Carr.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley Carr. I'm a senior budget analyst in Houston ISD. But before that, I was a math educator in secondary for about 7 years. I'm also a co-founder of the Tatiana Project, where we are focused on bringing STEM opportunity to urban communities. So that's me.
All right. And I do serve on the board of the Tatiana Project. And Miss Paris.
Uh-oh. I am Shatoya Paris, first grade teacher. I'm also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I'm the proud owner of Creativity by T, where I make custom shirts, tumblers. So that's me.
All right. Miss Paris, we're having a tough time hearing you. Your internet connection, I'm not sure what's going on, but you're breaking up. All right. So now, yes, we are all members of the Divine Nine. So, yes, we've got what? Am I missing someone? Well, we are missing one. Oh, goodness. Please introduce yourself, Miss Smith.
good morning. Good morning.
Another one. Okay.
I'm here. Am I in? Yes, I'm in. Good morning. I am Tanya Smith. I have been a higher ed educator, math professor this is my 23rd year. And I teach all levels of mathematics, and I'm also a published author. That is Math for Nurses, Dosage Calculations, and Skill Builders. And I'm also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Pam, you're on mute.
Well, we know what sorority Ashley is in because she got it all behind her. But yes, we are all members of the Divine Nine. I believe all graduates of an HBCU. Well, all of us, with the exception of Ashley, we met at UAPB. Ashley, what's your UA? What did you go to HBCU? You went to?
I graduated from Texas Southern.
Okay, yeah, that's TSU. That's HBCU. All right. So we all in the SWAC.
Yes.
Wait a minute, y'all. Are we having homecoming this fall?
No.
So I can cancel my room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good, because y'all know that room for 3 nights was $700.
Unbelievable.
Okay. But what we're gonna do today is, I imagine Miss Paris will come back. But as I said, and with me, anybody that knows me, I am not for a circular conversation. I am for a conversation that yields results, change, and outcomes. That being said, the beautiful educators on this webinar have put together a document for all viewers for you to use. So you see it right there. Y'all see the document? Tell me if y'all can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
You can see it. So it's called Math STEMinar Tools. Amazing resources for parents and students, mathematical academic careers to get our children from math from grade pre-K to college. You'll have all these different resources. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the authors go over it. So we're going to look at the academic course selection. And again, I will let the educators go ahead and share with us the benefit of this particular page right here.
Dr. Grayson, is there any way that you can kind of enlarge that for our viewers to see a little better?
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try it. Let me see what it. Lord, Microsoft did some kind of update, and it's so aggravating. Why today they want to update and make it hard? Okay, now I got to go. Give me just a moment, y'all. Let's see.
There we go.
Is that work?
Yes.
Okay, that works. All right, so we'll start with academic course selection.
So I'll just say with this academic course selection, this is aligned, of course, with our students who are in high school, and some of it is information that can be used once you get to college. So we were able to put together courses for those related on the STEM track and those related on the non-STEM track.
Okay.
And depending on your institution, that determines the order, the sequence that you would select your courses.
Okay. So basically, if I have a student that's going in a STEM field or for a STEM degree, they need to choose the ones on this side, basically.
Right. They need to choose the ones under the STEM course selection.
Okay. And those that are doing a non-STEM, such as English, like myself, will be on the right side.
Yes.
Okay. And the goal of this is so that our children do not take math courses unnecessarily that may prohibit the ease of their path.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, it makes it harder for you if you don't, taking these courses. You're not a math major. Don't take them.
Well, I'm not going to necessarily say don't take them, because don't get me wrong. there's a benefit in taking any type of math course.
Okay.
But these are just to kind of guide you in whichever path that you're going to take, whether it's a STEM path or a non-STEM path. And maybe if I can get another one of my sisters to kind of tell them what that means when you're taking a STEM path and a non-STEM path.
So a STEM track is the student who has declared their major as science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Those courses that are on the STEM course selection side are the math courses in particular that that student may be required to take depending on their major. For example, math majors have to take everything over there. Math majors are required to take every class that is, with the exception of college algebra, every class that is on the STEM course selection. Biology majors may not be required to take every single one of those classes, but for certainty, they will have to go through like Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. In terms of the college student, we stress making sure that you are taking your classes that are in the degree plan in the prescribed sequence, because you don't want to take a class that you won't need later on, because that costs money. It not only prolongs, you from graduating by taking unnecessary classes, but it also costs you more money when you're taking a class here and a class there, and then you find out you don't need the class. So from the standpoint of the college faculty member and the college student, it's important that parents have that discussion early on before they even get to a college campus about what do you want to do? What do you want to major in? It's important that, the student knows and is aware of what will be required for them, be required of them in order to pursue that particular degree. And I always use the example of everybody wants their child to go to medical school, but people don't realize what's involved in a student going to medical school and the coursework they have to take as an undergrad. And not only that, but some programs are so selective that if you don't have a certain ACT, you can't get into that program. So it's important, for us to have those conversations now with students who are in junior high and high school and start talking to them about, okay, if you're going to be a STEM major, these are the prescribed courses that you are going to be required to take to pursue that degree.
So as a high school educator or junior high school educator, Ashley, what course of action do you take in regards to whether or not they choose a STEM career?
I can agree with her because I can say that as my personal experience. I went to Texas Southern thinking, I wanted to do pre-pharmacy because that's what Texas Southern is known for, is pharmacy school, things like that. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want to do. Did not have someone, like she said, to show me the courses I would have to take. So I was just taking courses till I got to organic chemistry. And I realized that this is not what I want to do in life. I did not want to sit up and try to figure out why hydrogen had 2 double bonds. That was not fun to me. But I'm sitting here 3rd year in school. What do I do? I can't just not go home, not graduate. I wasted this time, as she said, wasted this money, as well. And I had a professor who said, well, what class do you like to go to? And I just told him, I was like, well, yours. He's my math professor. I said, I can't miss your class. I like coming to your office and we working out problems. That is what drives me. He was like, well, you can get a degree in math. And he basically showed me how I could get a degree in math and use all those STEM courses. I took a lot of biology courses because I didn't know that or for a pharmacy, you had to take a lot of biology and understand those things. So what he did was he ended up showing me, taking me by my hand, just like she said, and was able to show me that I can use those biology courses as a minor. So when I graduated, I ended up graduating with a bachelor's in math with a minor in biology. So he showed me how I could not lose that money and rearrange it. So I really believe that now what she's exactly saying, if this is what the kids saying they want to do, we have to expose them to that course catalog so they can see. Well, because, if somebody had to show me that it was a whole bunch of more, because they kept saying it's math and science. Pharmacy is math and science. If they had to show me it was more science than math, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I totally agree with everything that she's saying, that we have to expose them. The earlier we expose them, the more, the less mistakes they have, they'll have, because they'll know they've been exposed to it.
Good. Yo, Sarah from UAPB said, ha, organic chemistry can change your mind really quick.
And it can.
All right. So now you see the first section, STEM courses versus non-STEM courses. If they're going to be an attorney, stay on the right. If they're going to be a doctor, get on the left. All right. So now let's look at the next one. And basically our STEM careers that require a STEM degree. And I don't know that we have a lot to say right here. And those of you watching, please post comments and ask questions. That's what we're here for. But you'll see different degrees, different professions that require, obviously, a STEM degree. Some I'm shocked by. Human language technology. Well, I guess I would. It's technology. Real estate firms. Now, insurance agencies, we're talking about actuaries, right? People that determine, mortality tables and that type of thing. Why would real estate firms require a STEM degree? What position there requires that? Anybody know? All right. I'm sure it's something behind the scenes that we don't see every day. So let's go ahead and continue. We've got financial institutions and so forth. Careers that do not require a STEM degree and potential income. So if you're, and I'm assuming what we've done here is if you are math oriented, but you didn't go get the math degree, these are still excellent opportunities for you, even if you don't have a STEM degree, but you're math oriented. Would that be correct?
That would be correct.
All right. So now, and then one thing I want to point out is for the Tatiana project, video game designer. Tatiana was a STEM student, and she was teaching her nephew how to play and design the video games. Am I correct, Ashley?
That's correct. That's correct.
And so that's why the Tatiana project is focusing on video game designer. A lot of these opportunities are available to those that do not have a STEM degree, but they are not easily accessible for our students.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
And Dr. Grayson, I would also like to add that a lot of these that are on this particular list on this slide, you can obtain certifications for. And certifications are those short, quick post-secondary opportunities where learners can go in and get the hands-on knowledge and skills. And it might be a 9 to 10 month program. And at the end of it, they have a certification for it. Certifications are a well-kept secret in terms of as far as minorities are concerned. We don't talk about, our students, our babies obtaining certifications or 2-year degrees or anything like that. We still, we push the 4-year degree and everything, but I think it's important for us to kind of change the narrative just a little bit and start talking about the importance of getting certifications or the associate's degree, because a lot of these professions that are on this particular slide can be accomplished, and you can go into these professions with a certification, a 9-10 month certification, or the 2-year degree. For example, plumbers, HVAC technicians, they make very good money because, for one, we all need the plumbing to work in the house. And if we live in the South, we all need the air to work in the summertime. And so just if you think about as an adult, your own personal expenses, how much do you pay a HVAC technician just to come to your house? He hadn't touched anything, just that service call costs you how much? And so these are areas where if a student is not necessarily feeling the 4-year college thing, these are still some opportunities for them that we don't always discuss with them.
Let's talk about that. In our families, we are taught and think we're doing a good thing by teaching our children from the time they get here. You grow up, you go to high school, then you go to college so you can get a good job. We don't even take this into consideration. Should we, as the Black family, engage a paradigm shift and stop telling everybody to go to a 4-year college, and then looking at the student loan situation? What are y'all's thoughts on that? Ms. Paris, you got something to say? She giggling. I can hear you.
Okay, can y'all hear me better now?
Much better.
Okay, my computer had like rebooted. Yes, I actually have family members that are plumbers and HVAC techs, and so that one like hit home to me because, and then my dad is actually a truck driver as well, and so they actually make probably 3 times more that's on this sheet. And it shocked me when I first found that out because I was like, a plumber? I was like, you cleaning, toilets and sewage and stuff? And so for me, it was gross. But my uncle had told me, he was like, college was never for me. Like, I never wanted to go. It never entertained me. And he was like, I just found it crazy that I was paying so much money for something that I knew deep down inside I did not want. Now, that's not to say that college isn't a good thing, because for some people it's very beneficial. For me, it was beneficial. And I'm pretty sure for you ladies, it was beneficial as well. But I do think it's important to discuss different trades for people to have, and to have those discussions that if plumbing is an interest of your child, then allow that seed to grow and allow them to know the opportunities that they have with plumbing or with being HVAC tech, because those are careers that are always going to be there. You're always going to need them. And there's nothing wrong with going that way. And with student loans, for me, had I known some of the course selections when I first started, I wouldn't have taken them. And I probably wouldn't be in debt as much. So that's what the shaking of the head was coming from, because I really feel like you said, we're groomed to go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college. But we are not always groomed on the financial burden that it may cause you to get to that point.
And that is true.
I would like to add to that. Now that I've been in the community college sector for 20-something years, previously the outlook or the look for community college, it was like, oh, you sending your child to the community college, or it wasn't looked upon as a good thing. But now that I have been in that type of institution, I mean, if I know now what I knew, back then, it's like, I probably would have maybe gone to the 2-year and then transferred to the 4-year, not only just for the financial piece, but I mean, you got to look at it. The same type of education offered at the 2-year, you're getting the same thing at the 4-year. And it's really the first 2 years of the 4-year institution. That's what you're getting at the 2-year. And on top of that, how many of us actually knew what we wanted to do the first 2 years of college? I mean, the first year, let's be honest with everybody who's watching. The first year, you were just happy to be away from home if you went away to school. And so you really didn't focus until maybe towards the end of that second year, when it's like, okay, I'm really only have 2 years left to kind of figure this thing out. So for those parents, be real with your child. You know the type of environment that is best for your child.
Yes.
So if you know that they are more of a smaller learning community, send them to a community college. That will better prepare them before they move on to the four-year institution.
And also with that, your child, but also give your child the opportunity to express without judgment, without barking at them, without, being so aggressive with them. Give them an opportunity to express what they really are interested in. Listen to them. Don't just hear them, but actually listen to them. If your child is telling you they don't want to go away to college, you best better believe that they don't want to go away. They don't want to go. They're not ready, because the worst thing that can happen is you send them off, and that first year they totally bomb out because they don't want to be there. So in having the conversation about, what's required of them in a quote unquote STEM sequence or a non-STEM sequence, listen to what their interests are. Listen to what they are gravitating to, what really, gets them excited, and try to get toward academic areas that align with their interests. It will make their college experience so much easier, and it'll save you a lot of headache as well.
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, I just want to add a couple of points. As far as like the community college experience, I spent most of my time all of my time in community college. And as Tanya and Rashonda mentioned, had I known about community colleges when I first started, I would have started there. As previously stated, that most community colleges are looked upon as the VOTEC school. There's nothing wrong with VOTEC. Okay, but we've shifted that paradigm, and it's the associate's degree. It's your first 2 years. Now, my question is, how many of you know that you could actually get started on your associate's degree while you are in high school?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that your pre-AP classes and AP classes?
That could be your pre-AP classes and so on and so forth, but also concurrent enrollment. All you need to do is get admitted into that community college and take some classes over there. Awesome. You're in high school and in college at the same time. A lot of times what gets us is we don't know that information, and I have students that come in, by the time they graduate high school, they've already gotten their first 2 years done, just like that. So that's just food for thought, something to consider if you have a child that is actually going to college. Think about doing concurrent enrollment or getting an early start in the summer times. If your child is not working and they are really into academics, that would be a good way to get them motivated to go ahead and continue their education while they're during the summer, and get some of those credits done before they actually transition to the 4-year.
I would also like to add that now, since most schools are doing the virtual learning right now, this would be a very, very good time for juniors and seniors to really do the dual credit, meaning taking some college classes. Because I know sometimes parents say, well, I can't get them there, or, some type of reason. Now that all institutions are offering virtual learning, this would be a perfect opportunity for juniors and seniors to take some college credit classes.
And it sure would. I didn't think about that. As a parent, I'm looking at, now that I know the junior college, I can pay $100 and something per credit versus $300 and something per credit at the university for the same class. So now I am an advocate for sending that child to junior college for the first 2 years and then going on to the university. Then we're only collecting 2 years of loans or debts, or hopefully you get a scholarship, or I've saved up for you. As a parent, I'm looking at it from the financial perspective, and thank you all for those other perspectives. So now,
yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I was going to mention the dual credit. I did dual credit in concurrent enrollment, And that helped me a lot. And so depending on your school district, if you talk to the counselor, you may not even have to pay that $100. Like it may be 50 or free, depending on what high school you go to that partners.
Oh, wow.
And so for me, that helped me because I don't know, my degree was architecture at first, and that's what my family wanted for me. That's not what I wanted for myself. And that actually helped me when I decided to change my major. I didn't have to start from scratch. All those hours that I took when I was a junior and senior in high school followed me through.
Good. An architect, huh? I can see from here that it was not you. And then she was Blade's first grade teacher. Amazing. So now we've got websites on this tool as well. I told you we got 20 pages of absolute goodness for you. So now we've got various websites. I don't know if anybody wanted to comment on some of these. I'm a firm believer in, and I didn't put it on here. Yes, I did. Mathdrills.com is one of my faves. Oops, I messed that up, didn't I? I sure did. I clicked on it. Y'all give me a minute. Okay, let me go open my document back up again. There it is. But yeah, mathdrills.com is one of my faves. So just give me a moment. I'll get back there. We've got some other ones too.
So Dr. Grayson, while you're pulling that up, I wanted to mention social media. I know Instagram and Twitter, they have, it's called Black Tutors social media. I believe that's what it's called.
Black Tutors social media. We don't have that on there? Okay.
I think it might be at the bottom, but that is the tag name for Instagram and Twitter. So once you start following that page, it has a list of several Black virtual tutoring opportunities. And again, now that a lot of institutions are doing virtual learning, for those parents who are needing that extra assistance, and most of the tutoring sites emphasize in mathematics and reading. So for those parents who need some extra assistance in helping their students during this time, you know, there's a lot of tutoring websites who are doing online tutoring that can, you know, that can help our parents during this time.
What was that? blacktutors.com?
The page, I think, is Black Tutors social media.
Okay. All right. And that's on Twitter.
I want to find it to be for certain.
Okay. All right. And we'll get that added to the resource as well. So again, we're going over a 20-page resource that's been compiled for everyone. Like I said, I can attest to mathdrills.com. I pull worksheets off there all the time for Blade. Khan Academy is good. You get the free resources there. They will actually walk you through. Learnhowtobecome.com. Shonda?
Yes.
Learnhowtobecome.com.
Learnhowtobecome.com/careers in mathematics was a website that I used to locate different careers that utilize math degrees. It's not necessarily an outright math degree page, but it gives you a little list. And it's not a long list, but it's a good list. It gives you a list of other professions that utilize the math degree, because people sometimes think that math, the only thing you can do with math is teach math. Mm-hmm. And so learntobecome.com lists other professions where you may directly use mathematics or you may indirectly use math, but all of them require some type of math degree. So on that page, you learn about economists, those people who study our economy and the ups and downs and the predictions of our economy. They talk about financial analysts and how math is used in financial analyst degrees, professions. They talk about actuaries. And so it was just a quick little tool that I found and that I share with my students who are contemplating becoming a math, majoring in math.
Okay. And then one I was really thrilled with was Desmos.com, a free online graphing calculator, because those calculators cost about $100.
They're $150.
Ooh, the last time I had to buy one was when my oldest child was in high school, so that was a few years ago. Oh
No,
dear,
they're
$150.
real sophisticated now, and they're about $150. You can find one that's roughly around $100, but now they got color screens and all kind of stuff. So the more bells and whistles you get, the more expensive the calculator gets.
Wow,
So
$150. That's almost the cost of a doggone laptop. Might as well buy the whole computer.
Yeah. Desmos is what I give my college algebra, my Cal 1, my Cal 2 students. We utilize Desmos in those classes because it is a free online graphing calculator, and it does a lot of other functions. And for a small fee, a student can also get access to other types of worksheets to work on. And it's a good resource for instructors as well, for educators of all levels. Because again, if you pay, like I think it's like $10 a month, you get access to activities for your classes. So it's just like I said, in terms of a calculator, because I have so many students who can't afford to buy the calculator, we just use Desmos, and you can do a lot with the free aspect of it.
All right. Thank you for that amazing resource. So we have other tutoring resources, and this we'll probably be adding some more to this, because before we publish this resource, it will be completed. So we still have some more work that we're going to do on this, but we will go ahead now. As you all remember, on our last webinar, we had indicated that we would put together a list of resources. Yeah. All right. All right. Gotcha. Black Tutors of Social Media. That's what the page is. And that's an Instagram and Twitter page. All right. And so we'll add that to the resource as well. But remember, we had asked for a word list. Now, the purpose of the word list is so that we as parents can start using these words with our students, so that when they get to math class, they won't know. And an example that Ms. Smith gave last time was, instead of calling it a hill, calling it a slope, so that they would know what a slope is. And just the other day, Blade and I were walking, and we had a long conversation about what I would previously have called a stoplight, but which is now for us an intersection, so that he knows what an intersection is. So this is a gargantuan list of words. I don't know if the educators have anything to add to this. This is one we pulled offline, and of course you're not going to use, calculus or coefficient with your first grader. You would do that with your high school students, but you can use cone or constant, coordinate. There are plenty on here, because Blade, but unbelievably, he has quite the vocabulary. He gets frustrated. He can demonstrate. So he can use words of multiple syllables. So he can learn this too.
I would like to say he learned demonstrate in first grade.
Okay. He would be demonstrating in class, and you'd have to call me. She said, yeah, kind of, sort of. All right. So you all see, this is a large list of words. And what I'm going to do in my house, and which I've already started doing, is rewarding Blade when he will use some of these words. Like I said, this list is meant to go from pre-K all the way to the senior year. But these are words that we should be using with our students.
Dr. Gray,
Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Tanya.
I'm sorry. So I just wanted to say, you remember in our last seminar that we did, we all really talked about exposure. And
Yep.
so this list of words, of course, a lot of these words are not going to be used in just your everyday conversation, right?
Mhm.
But it's about exposure. So exposing our babies when they're preschool and kindergarten, exposing them to these words now. So when they start seeing them as they progress, they will be very comfortable and familiar with these words, not only our babies, but us as a parent. Because a lot of times our frustration, I think we talked on last time, as a parent, our frustration is because we don't know what the word means. So it's hard for us to help our babies when we don't know what the word means. So therefore, these words are not just for you and your children to use throughout the house, but just exposing yourself. So, because they're going to come across all of the words plus more on this list. That is a fact.
Oh, wow.
So some part in their journey, their educational journey, taking math classes, they're going to come across some of these words. So it's best that we expose them now instead of waiting until it's too late.
I agree.
And I would like to add to that is that this isn't just the pre-K through 12 list, because there are several words on that list that are used in college mathematics courses as well. There are several words on that list that we still talk about in Cal 1 and Cal 2. So it's not just for pre-K through 12. That list is a good, and it's not even comprehensive. It's not all inclusive. There are a lot of words that we left off. But it is a good list, a strong list that will carry a student from pre-K through 16.
Okay. I would definitely agree. So again, those words are just words we pulled. We took a comprehensive list and we also assembled some. Now this one, our high school instructor assembled, and this is one I think that is more geared towards the middle school or even the elementary, middle school, and high school student that may struggle with math a bit or not fully understand. But I like this because we have the term, and I forgot my list up here, the term, what it is, and in what particular operation in which you would use it. And so this is one that I would actually go ahead and give to Blade now. It gives the meaning of the word, and also to students that are ESL. Learned English as a second language. I think this list would be very helpful for them too. So we have another comprehensive list, again, with the term, the definition, and in which operation it would be used. And this is a vast list of different mathematical terms. And what I will do is go ahead and give Miss Ashley the opportunity to expound on the value of this one.
Well, what I've learned is that, especially let's just be honest, and we got to get these kids to pass the test. I know we don't want to get them to pass the test. We would love to come in math class and just teach the whole concept of algebra. But the testing aspect has to be one of them. And what I've learned is that because kids' reading skills are not on level, that it's hard for them to decode what is in the word problem. They can understand 2 + 2, what is that answer? But if we say, Dr. Grayson had 2 apples and, then she moved 2 to the left and 2 to the right, we're lost them. We lost them on especially negatives and positives. We lose them if we say we move back 2, we move forward 4. So those words they need to know. If I see the word both, that means we're adding both of those together. We're bringing that together. So certain words in that in the thing we need to pull out and say, okay, they are asking us to add these numbers together. If they're saying cut this up, if we cut it up, what do? We divided it amongst the group. So those are things that that, you know, I have to break down for my kids. I also use like, I guess, you know, acronyms or things like that for my kids to memorize things. My favorite one I love using, I got in trouble for one time, was WTF. And so we always with WTF. So I always say, how do we start this off? Before we do anything, what do? We WTF. And what it is write the formula. So the kids remember those things and they're easy to know that, okay, this is how I started off. Okay. And so you have to get them at what their level is and how can I bring in what we learning. But I did get in trouble for that at work one time though, because I didn't tell what we were doing. But when she came in and she saw that when I say that, they automatically start writing out the formula and then we start putting in the missing parts, the variables, she got it, you know. So it's all about reaching the kid. And what I'm learning is that they don't know these words. These words are not part of their vocabulary. So we have to give them a list like we did. I think this is wonderful of showing that if we use this word, this is what it means, you know, so that they can put those two and two together.
I agree. I don't think people get the connection between reading and math. And that other sheet that I showed you all, and me for it to pop up, but this is what I made for Blade. Read the problems and underline. I taught him keywords. Now I teach English as a second language to students in China. And when they are taking the test to go to university, they have to take a certain test. They have to read and answer questions. And we teach them on how to solve the question is looking for key words. So that I translated from teaching English into teaching math to Blade. When you see difference, take away, how many left, less, fewer, you subtract. That is your operation. So that is a clear connection between reading and math. And yes, you are absolutely right. Where we'll find the failure in reading and math is when it's a word problem. And Blade can read, but he's just not putting it together sometimes. Or at that time, he wasn't. All right, so anybody have any other comment on this particular part of the resource? We have a lot there as well. You see more pages and so forth. So that is a part as well. So now, to make it easy for your parents, we gave you a basic conversion chart. Because I know as a parent, if he comes home and tells me to translate an inch to centimeters, I am lost. So this is something that I need, because and as a parent, I think we need, and the great thing about this is, as a parent, yeah, I can go out there and Google and come up with a conversion chart, but I am much more comfortable with the conversion chart provided to me by math educators that I know and trust and love. I know my stuff is right then. So that's why I would always go to this conversion chart, because I know who provided it and they're a math educator and I know it's right. So we do have a basic conversion chart as well. Any comment on this?
I would add that YouTube does have a lot of good instructional videos that shows you actually how to convert. So yes, you have the chart and you know what inches, how many inches equals how many feet, but how do I really convert that? So there are a lot of instructional videos on YouTube that show step by step, not only for you as a parent, but also for the child. So both of you can learn together on how to actually convert one measurement to the other measurement.
You know, ideally, oh, that would be time consuming, but if we could put together like a list of the YouTube videos that they would look at, that would be great. But I would, at this point, I guess, take suggestions. Do you all have any specific math instructors that you all suggest in regards to the YouTube videos? Do you know of any?
I don't have any specifics. It just kind of depends on the concept that I'm teaching, because I pull a lot of them and I place them in my courses. I mean, you know, even on the college level, I pull a lot of the videos for my students to actually go and look at. Because sometimes, yeah, I'll show them, but sometimes they need like that extra reinforcement. So, I mean, and I love YouTube, because really all you have to do is type in, what is it that you're doing? You know, what is it that your child is learning or needs to do? And you just type that in the search engine, and it's so many videos that'll pop up.
Now, I got a couple of questions behind that one. Number one, as a parent that doesn't know, how do I know this person is not teaching me trash? Number two, he's learning base 10 math at school, but the video and what I know is old school. Am I potentially creating a problem?
So, as we talked last time, this whole new Common Core, I know
that's a gap.
It is.
I can't do
even
it.
with my children, you know, well, mama, this is what they show. Okay, I get it, what they showed you, but this is what I'm going to tell you. Because at the bottom line, the answers are correct. And we're all about trying to solve and get the answers, because every child learns differently. So yeah, that particular teacher or instructor may be teaching it this way. My child doesn't, he can't understand it that way. So I need to show him another way. And I've had several conversations with my child's teacher when it comes to the math class, like, you're not going to dock him because he didn't do it your way. He didn't learn it that way.
That's where I was going. Because they'll say, well, I want to see the work, and the work should look like this.
And I make sure, I mean, me as an instructor, I'm big on showing work, because I don't want to just see the answer. So I teach them to show the work. It may not be how you showed them to show the work, but their thought process is different. So that's why when some of my face-to-face classes, it's really important for instructors, no matter what level, if you take the children to the board to put the problems on the board so you can see their thought process. Because it's not that they don't understand the problem. It may be they're missing one particular piece of the problem. And it's not isolating. It's not picking on somebody. Take them to, you know, this is how you start them working in groups. Take them to the board in groups. Put them in groups. Work on the board. Well, we're not doing it now because we're virtual. But when we do go back to the classroom, that's a good option, a good way to help the child in their thought process. Because you got to, you know, you got to see where their steps are.
And it also helps them talk it out. Because if they can explain it, sometimes they can catch their own mistakes. Sometimes they can express where they are having difficulty as they're working through and talking it out with someone else. So I use Boardwork all the time in my classes when we are live and in person. That's one of the things that I've always done was send, you know, and you have to let them know I'm not picking on you. I'm not putting you on, you know, blast or anything like that. But I tell them, if you can talk it out, then I know that you have a grasp on what we're doing.
Exactly. And I agree with that, because, you know, so my situation was when it came to doing 3-digit subtraction, Blade would, you know, you start with the ones column, he will do that, but you have to borrow. He would never go through and reduce the number in the tens columns by 1. And of course, that got it wrong. And his teacher taught him something about carrying a rod, and I tried to use that, but what y'all gave me, that wording worked. It fixed it almost immediately, telling him to borrow from his neighbor. You personalize, I hate to say it, we personified the numbers, but he gets it. It's applicable. The wording is important, and it was different from hers. And I just have to say, this was probably the worst math teacher I'd ever seen in my life. But Shatoya laughing. But I was there. You know, you taught him one way, he doesn't get it. And frankly, nobody hardly in your class got it. And now he gets it. We have been working on this literally for a year. And now with the change of the wording, it's fixed.
The other thing I wanted to add, as we correlate the reading and writing with math, another thing that I do with my students is, as we're working through the process, over on the side, I will write step 1, and I'll write in words what actually consists of step 1. So if we're doing algebra, step 1 is take 5 to the other side and subtract. I'm writing that out in words so that when the students are able to go back and review their notes, not only are they seeing the actual math process, but they can also see it written out in words step by step. And I would strongly suggest parents to do that with their children. So as they go through the problems, have them write it out. It may sound like it's extra work, but trust me, it will be very beneficial to your student. So as they're working out the problems, have them write on the side, okay, what did you do during step 1? What did you do during step 2? Because that is also a way for you to see where they may have messed up in their process.
I think that is great. And I'm actually going to engage that one too. All right.
It is,
so now,
Dr. Grayson, it is great. What I always tell my students when I do that, because that's what I do in my class, is that don't just write the problem and the steps. Make sure they, like Tanya said, write out the steps in words as well, because that writing aids in their retention. They will remember it, and they will remember what they're doing if they can write it out in words. It helps tremendously.
And someone, as a note taker, yes, it helps me a lot to write it.
And it will help with their vocabulary.
Yes.
Because they are using the math terms as they are writing.
I think that's excellent. Toya?
I was going to piggyback on your YouTube thing. If you find a way that his teacher is teaching it, that is okay. But then it always goes back to, you have to advocate for your child. If your child does not learn that way, please show them the way that they learn. And so that was like the big thing for me, because when you mentioned the carry the rod thing, as a teacher, I've never heard of the carry the rod. I didn't know what you was talking about. So I was like, carry what? And so like borrowing and like taking away, or, what was it, crossing out, like you got to show your work that way. But when you say carry the rod, I literally was just like, I don't know what she's talking about. Carry what?
I have no idea.
And so it kind of made me laugh real hard, because I was like, I don't know what that is. And I'm supposed
Well,
to
you know the school he was at last year. So.
I do know that. So that's because you took them from me. But I will say, do what works for your child, because not every child learns the same. And then even as teachers, if a kid got the same answer and it makes sense and they followed all the steps, it may be different steps from you, but it still works, please accept it.
And I agree with that. And I think the key thing in this process is, Toya, you said it, is to advocate for your child. And I am a strong advocator. If you are Blade's teacher, you can either hate or love to see me coming. I think Toya loved to see me coming. She's one of the few. I got a few folks that hate to see me, especially Carnell, my oldest child. Lots of folks hated to see me coming. I'm the parent that'll pull an email to you wrote 2 years ago to tell what you doing. Did it. But I advocate if he's not learning that way. And because understand, we're doing this webinar for a few reasons. Number one, our children face a gap, an achievement gap, opportunity, whatever you want to call it. There's a divide. And our goal is to bridge that divide. And a part of bridging that divide, because many teachers will teach our children with a cycle of deficit, as if they can't learn, not giving us opportunities, not giving us access. You have got to be a woke, active, and present parent for your child. Now, for Blade last year, I wrote a 10-page document, custom pasted what was going on in his classes. Still kind of going at it with and I worked at the school. So, but I'm an advocate, and you have to do that. And I know as parents, especially with COVID-19, you're working, you may have multiple children, one computer in the house. I don't know how to say this. I can speak for me. My greatest calling in this life is to be his mama. And that will always come first. Now, some days I really want to put him out, but that's my baby. I created Blade along with his father. He didn't ask to come here. It is my responsibility to make sure his tenure on this earth is the best it can be. And I have to make the sacrifices I've done with both of my children. Put things back I needed for things they wanted. I have to make that sacrifice to make sure that he's okay. So I work from home too. But now, Blade, just today, I'm getting ready to go set up his account. He's been accepted to an online school. So he's going to be going to school online. We're going to do it all at home. And we're going to make it work. Because we have to. And I have to be an advocate and understand these online teachers. They will get no slack cut for them like the teachers that were face-to-face. I'm going to have an expectation, and I'm going to undergird the learning at home. And it's hard. I know it's hard. I'm tired, but there's always something to do. But we do it because I need for that child to move out when he's 18.
Oh, no. Don't make him move out when he ain't.
And you know what? Let's go ahead and address that too. I joke about that. Y'all, Blake can stay with me until he's 85. I love that boy. You get on my nerves, but I love that boy. What was it? It was Rashonda. You said they tell you they don't want to go off to college. If he wants to stay at home, let him stay. Now, granted, you're going to work.
You got to do something. You know, I'm not advocating your child stay at home and not do anything.
But you know, I think the Black family, we teach our kids to get out. Maybe we should let them stay at home and work and really build, especially if they're going to come out of this thing with a lot of student debt or anything like that. We need to do what other cultures do and house together sometimes and allow us to get a foundation and then get on out there.
I went to a seminar when I was in grad school, and it was the guy, his family owns an oil company in Dubai. And what was struck to me is that what their families told him was when he graduated from college, he had to go work for another company. He couldn't come home and work for the family company. Basically, the family wanted you to use another company to go make your business. Make your mistakes. Once you got all your mistakes out and you got your kinks in a row, you come back home to the family company, and then you are producing this upward. What I think is that we should not, just what Dr. Grayson said, we should not be kicking our kids out. That should be the time, because now we've been focusing on them passing college, high school, and making sure they got these classes and things like that. While we're pushing them to move forward and do things, also we need to make sure they understand financial literacy before they leave your house. Make sure they understand that if you're making $20 an hour or things like that, that you do need to put 20% in a savings account. That you do, so that you can have a stable, so that when you do go out and you want to do a down payment on a home, and you want to get that conventional 15-year loan on a home, you have the funds to do that without no problems. And so you are creating that generational wealth of them understanding that we need to, to save and thrive and do things with your funds, and not just, go out and party. Not saying we can't party, but there's levels to everything in your money, like the pie. There should be a percentage of everything in your funds. But we have to teach them that. And what we do, a lot of us, we learned that at college when we got our refund check. That was the time of us trying to figure out our financial literacy. And sometimes it wasn't good for everybody. Everybody didn't make it to the end of the semester with money and things of that nature. We eat ramen noodles and hamburger helper to push it through to the, to the next refund check. I'm just being honest, because I wish someone would have just said, hold on, let me show you how you can do this so that I can understand. That was it.
And that's exactly right. It is. For my sophomores, I taught a sophomore class, and it was an English class. But I pulled a class lesson from Dave Ramsey's course. These children didn't understand what credit was, and I didn't learn really what credit was until as an adult, and that was after I had messed it up. I knew I had this little plastic card that got me stuff. I ain't paying attention to that, having to pay it back at the end of the month. And so, yes, value. My oldest child, I made sure he valued not using his social security number out anywhere. Now, I don't know how well it's working today, but I did teach that. And you're right, we don't teach our children that soon enough. Savings. Somebody told me that if I would put away a 401k to $2,000 per year for Blade now, just for 7 years, he'll be a millionaire by the time he retires. He said it would quadruple or triple or increase that much. All right, so now you see our friend Chandra, fellow UAPBer. She said that's what other cultures do, set your kids up for success. And what aggravates me is we'll have people come from other countries and they get loans for businesses. And it is a proven fact that the SBA does not give Black people, loans as frequently. So be prepared and teach our children that one. All right. So do we have any other questions? I have no questions in the chat. Anything else y'all wanted to share? Nothing else? It's a great day, isn't it? What is it a great day to do? Y'all tell me, what is a great day to do?
Arrest police officers that killed Breonna
A great day
Taylor.
to do what?
Arrest the police officers that killed Breonna Taylor.
Can I get everybody to chime in? It's a great day for what?
Arrest the police officers that killed Breonna Taylor.
All right. It is a great day for that. Thank you all so much. We'll look at comments and so forth, and we'll come back again if we need to, or just provide any resources. So again, fam, we provided a 20-page resource. We're going to clean it up here shortly, and then we will post that for you all to use. And I know I will be an avid user of it. Thank you all for coming. Mwah, mwah. Thank you. And you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.